Disney impacted me in a lot of positive ways. I think I had to learn how to answer questions and do interviews as a fetus, you know. I think the machine in itself is sometimes very intimidating. But because I've gotten used to this world, it just feels like where I belong. And I think that comfortability really benefits me, where I can walk into any room, a room full of executives, a room full of fans, and it all feel very, very familiar. It just helps, you know. You kind of like, in a way, skip steps of having to break those fear barriers because you already were immersed in these kind of rare environments as a kid. Let It Shine, I guess, if any way, kind of reinforced the balance that's crucial when you're doing multiple things, singing and acting, and also the joy that it is to have both of those worlds collide. Really, it's just kind of something you learn how to manage. I mean, me as an adult, the singer me versus the actor me are completely different people, but I am inspired by both of them. So I guess kind of what it showed me was just how to balance at a young age, and then I get better and better at being able to balance them all. Well, the difference is between actor me and singer me is all about my story. So the more that I can open up and the more that I can share, the more that I can be vulnerable, the better the product. With actor me, it's a lot more technical, and I kind of have to take myself out of it because some of the things that the characters I portray do, I wouldn't do, or, you know, they don't feel authentic to me. So it's taking yourself out of it because it's not about me at that time, you know? And I think what I learned from each of them is that even if a song I can't relate to, somebody can. And so having universal vulnerability makes anything feel like it could be your story, whether it's acting, whether it's music. Like, that theme of vulnerability has to live in everything because it connects people. I think me learning from the actor me is like, sometimes you don't have to write the whole story. Like, be a good collaborator. Have some artists that, you know, have a different perspective and maybe they want to offer it to your song. Have some songwriters come in, and it doesn't have to be always your full story. It just has to be a good story sometimes. So there's a moment that I think about a lot, and I always knew that I loved singing and performing, and it became like a really, really strong number one as I was, you know, in middle school and coming up. I remember one time I sang the national anthem before my own basketball game. I was like, let me do it. So I've always been that type. Like, there's a music opportunity, let me do that. But there was this one time, and it was for an Easter, like, Resurrection Sunday service. And I sang My Redeemer Lives by CeCe Winans, right? So I just remember closing my eyes, and I was just singing, and I opened my eyes, and my basketball coach was crying. And he's like this tough, like rough type of basketball coach, and I remember he was crying. I was like, why is he crying? I was like, what does this do? How does this make people feel this way? This is different than, you know, any sport, the reaction, and it felt very purposeful, and I think that's when I knew. I have a couple different music influences. I'm grateful that my mom was the first person to really teach me how to sing. I listened to a lot of Aretha Franklin at that time, and I mean, my go-to audition song was Chain of Fools. I listened to Whitney Houston a lot, Mariah Carey, Brandy, and then as I got into my like teens, I was in the Disney world, so I was obsessed with Raven-Symoné and the Cheetah Girls and High School Musical, and the being able to be on a movie and the music is in the movie, and then she had the TV show and Hannah Montana. I was like blown away. So I was obsessed with all the Disney girls, all the music, and that format of being able to have all the worlds collide was sickening to me. Then as I grew up, I got into, you know, young adult artists like Party Next Door, Bryson Tiller, SZA, Summer Walker, and that's when I was like, whoa, like, people really talk their shit. Like, they're really saying whatever is really happening. And I was so used to following scripts. So I was like, I gotta do some of this. This feels right. And I guess I gotta have different worlds of music that kind of have made me who I am, so I can see why you'd say, like, yeah, some of it's kind of pop-y, some of it's super soulful, because it's literally all the things that I know that I've pieced together. Hey y'all, it's Coco Jones, and you're checking out 24/7 HH.